Welcome my fellow weeaboos and DC fans to my DCEU Strength and Power tier list. In this video I'll be ranking all of the important characters from the DC Extended Universe movies in terms of how powerful they are in a head-to-head fight. The higher the tier, the stronger the characters, and the characters I have further to the left are the ones who I think are more likely to win. Starting off at the human tier are the Legions of Hell, who have a scary name but were defeated by regular people, including kids. This is why Amon and Cassandra Cain go above them. Adriana represents your average adult woman. Likewise, Milton represents the average man, and when the average man tries to fight alongside the non-average, they tend to die. Kareem goes higher because he can only die by electricity. Jenny with her expanding gum can take out most regular people. TDK isn't regular though, and can detach his body parts. Unfortunately, this seems to be his only power, making him only slightly more capable than a regular person. Maxwell Lord is an average man, but when he gains the power of the Dreamstone, he can grant a person's wish and take something from them in return. The thug in prison with a shank will just shank everyone below him. I had to put him on the list because he's played by C.T. Fletcher, who I used to watch when I was a teenager when I was trying to learn how to increase my power level. Eagly is capable of taking out multiple armed men. Bruce the hyena can take down an adult man and is a bigger, stronger animal than a bald eagle, though Eagly would definitely do better against people with guns due to his agility. Weasel's harmless, well besides the fact he killed 27 children, but he was chosen as part of the Suicide Squad and he's apparently pretty hard to kill, so I find it hard to believe he wouldn't be above the characters below. Eyes of the Adversary are entities created by Enchantress that are said to be soldiers who can take a headshot and still fight. They're basically just capable humans with better durability. Next tier is the Armed Human tier for characters on par with a human with a decent weapon. The giant grasshoppers that mutated due to 𝗺𝗀𝗃𝗃 in a group forced Aquaman and Orm to flee. However, individually they were no threat. Human hosts taken over by butterflies gained superhuman strength that allowed them to physically overpower even buffed out trained killers like Peacemaker. They still die just as easily to guns though, and any trained person with a weapon can kill them, which is why they're so low. John Economos using a metal bar KO'd Judo Master. With a chainsaw he killed Charlie, the butterfly-enhanced gorilla, and with a P90 he killed a bunch of Klansmen. These feats easily put him in this tier, but his lack of athleticism puts him near the bottom. Blackguard and Javelin are both featless, but they were chosen to be part of the Suicide Squad and have weapons, so they should at least be in this tier. Slipknot is the man who can climb anything and was also chosen to be a Suicide Squad member, but his feats are also lackluster, so he goes down here as well. Black Mask proved he was a good shot, and everyone was just lucky he didn't have the high ground. Victor Zsasz took an arrow to the neck, but instead of becoming a city guard, he tried to shoot back. Amanda Waller's a cold-hearted killer that will gun down her enemies and allies alike. Anatoly was a skilled mercenary. Steve Trevor was a skilled soldier who took out a bunch of German soldiers with weapons and fisticuffs alike. When revived in another man's body, he was able to defeat Secret Service members and even learned one of their moves mid-combat and used it to get the better of Max. Milagro with the bug shield could block bullets and take out armed men. Nana Reyes has a past filled with combat, and when armed with a Gatling gun, I think she outmatches everyone else in this tier. Her granddaughter could be overwhelmed by continuous gunfire, so this time experience beats youth. The elite human tiers for the most skilled of the human race and those on par with them. Leota demonstrated she had elite level marksman skills when she took out a group of butterfly people. Detective Renee was able to give Harley a run for her money and defeated a bunch of Black Mask goons. She was definitely the weakest of the birds of prey, but I would still say she was on their level. Mongal has superhuman strength and can take down a helicopter, but due to her incompetence she got herself killed and got Boomerang killed as well. Savant is an expert in weapons and hand-to-hand combat. Captain Boomerang and his handy boomerang can take out Eyes of the Adversary and enemy soldiers alike. Katana has a sword that can trap the souls of her victims. She got the better of Captain Boomerang and cut off Incubus's hand. Huntress trained to be an assassin for most of her life, and it clearly paid off. Amelia Harcourt is a skilled shot similar to Leota, being able to take out butterfly people. Her hand-to-hand skills though are vastly superior, even being able to give Judo Master a good fight, which is something Leota couldn't do. Vigilante is essentially Peacemaker Light, being an extremely skilled marksman seemingly proficient in all forms of weaponry. Rick Flag was stated to be the finest Special Forces officer the US has ever produced. He gave Peacemaker a real run for his money before ultimately expiring. Judo Master in his first encounter with Peacemaker's squad defeated Amelia, Peacemaker, and Vigilante all at once. He later had a rematch with Peacemaker where they were about even and fought Amelia again where the fight was close, but he ended up getting the better of her. It's clear he has to be above Amelia, Vigilante, and the guy who lost to Peacemaker. Harley Quinn should just be a regular woman, but she's fueled by crazy, which allows her to pull off seemingly low superhuman level feats. Joker's pretty featless, but seems to be implied to be above Harley. Myrn, aka 𝗧𝗵𝗃, was a butterfly with superhuman strength and durability. He took down Leota, and the other top tier butterfly Goth got the better of Peacemaker. This bot basically represents human butterflies with elite skill level. Physically, they're better in every way than regular humans, which is why I put 𝗵𝗲 above everyone below. But since he's still vulnerable to being one-shot by a bullet, I don't think he goes a tier above. Killer Croc is likely even stronger than the Butterfly people and was at least physically stronger than the other Suicide Squad members from the first movie. He could go a tier up, but unfortunately he barely got any feats. Moving up to the Enhanced Humans here, the characters in this tier all have something that puts them above the realm of what a regular human can normally achieve. 𝗏𝗏 arguably has the strongest defensive power in this tier, but he has the body of a regular human and no skill to go with it, making him the most vulnerable in this tier as well. Ratcatcher 2 has the power to control rats, which doesn't seem that strong, but when she can control them across the range of an entire city, it becomes truly deadly. Black Canary is a skilled fighter on a similar level to Huntress and Harley, but she also has the power to blast back enemies with her sonic scream. Deadshot has superhuman marksmanship, basically having the powers of an aimbot. He's lethal up to 400 meters and never misses, even being able to use ricochets to hit his target. Anyone vulnerable to bullets is very likely to lose to him. Charlie's a gorilla taken over by a butterfly, making him even stronger than a regular gorilla. He was beating Peacemaker, Vigilante, Amelia, and Leota all at once and was durable enough to take multiple gunshots. Due to this, he should be able to rush and beat down Deadshot. The creatures that came from the Tree of Life have superhuman strength, but unlike Charlie, they were bulletproof, so they should go above him. Standard Atlanteans are bulletproof as well, but more intelligent and have powerful Atlantean weaponry. The trend showed they could take out Atlanteans. Deserters are another subspecies of Atlantean that should go around here. Black Manta's men using ancient Atlantean armor and guns should be on a similar level to an Atlantean, but they also have jetpacks. Parademons could take out both standard Atlanteans and Amazons, but also got killed by them as well, so they should be around that level. A single one managed to give Batman some trouble. By the way, I didn't rank average Amazons, but they would probably be in this tier below the average Atlantean because they're not bulletproof. Peacemaker seemed to be nearly as skilled of a marksman as Deadshot, but is physically stronger. A lot of things suggest Peacemaker should actually go in the tier below, but what really solidifies him in this tier are his helmets with special abilities. For example, his Sonic Boom helmet, which was able to completely obliterate a butterfly-possessed human. Nobody below him has the feats to say they could survive such a blast. Bloodsport is basically a better version of Peacemaker and defeated him by shooting through his bullet with a smaller bullet. Along with Peacemaker and Rick Flag, he can wield the death blow with certainty, meaning he can successfully one-shot kill someone with a strike 100% of the time. King Shark was stated to be the strongest member of Bloodsport's Suicide Squad team, and demonstrated this with both his incredible physical strength and durability feats. Bloodsport was able to shoot him into submission, but he couldn't really damage him. However, Bloodsport didn't use his fully formed gun on him, so there's a chance he could kill King Shark with that. The Atlanteans in the red suits were Orm's finest commandos. They could give Aquaman and Mera trouble. One even KO'd Aquaman. That's probably the best feat of anyone in this tier, which is why I put these guys at the top. I also think their Atlantean steel should be able to cut King Shark, considering those weird little creatures could draw blood from him. And these guys are definitely more skilled than King Shark, so they should be able to outfight and cut him down. Roiding up to the Superhuman tier, these characters all have strength and skill that vastly outstrips the human level. Jajus were beasts controlled by the Deserters, but they were clearly a level stronger than their masters. Unicorns are the king of beasts, causing the other Tree of Life creatures to flee in fear from them, and if they couldn't run fast enough, they got skewered. General Ludendorff, when hopped up on some sort of drug, became strong enough to contend with Wonder Woman before she unlocked her full power from Steve's death. However, Wonder Woman at that point could still flip armored trucks, smash through towers, and track bullets, so keeping up with her at all is an amazing feat. Hippolyta is the queen of the Amazons and killed multiple parademons. Her sister Antiope was stated to be the Amazons' best warrior in their history. She was able to fight nearly on par with Diana before her power-up. She was killed by a bullet though, which limits her and the other Amazons from being any higher.
It's too late. No.
Carapax in his original OMAC suit had superhuman strength and destructive firepower that allowed him to keep up with the holding back Blue Beetle. White Dragon had a powerful bulletproof suit that could fly and shoot energy projectiles. It took Peacemaker and Vigilante working together to exploit the gaps in his armor to defeat him. King Nereus has a trident that shoots powerful projectiles. Vulko is the Atlantean who trained Aquaman and taught him how to fight. Atlanta easily took out multiple Atlanteans at once, proving she and the other top tier Atlanteans should be a tier above them. Octobots proved too tough for an individual Atlantean on land, though in the water top tier Atlanteans seemed to have the edge over them. Cordex's giant tentacle creature also seemed to be above Atlanteans on land. The bug ship is bulletproof and can stomp all over armed men. Batman may just be a man, but he moves like a nightmare. He can take out large groups of men and his suit is bulletproof, at least to a degree. The Dark Knight could take out multiple parademons and easily got the better of Deadshot. If that's not enough to prove he should be in this tier, he could also repeatedly avoid Doomsday's attacks, as well as block Superman's heat vision twice with his special gauntlets. Alternate Universe Batman even managed to outmaneuver and temporarily KO the Kryptonian Namek. If that explosive can KO a Kryptonian, I think there's a good chance he can take out anyone below with it. The main timeline Bruce is likely a bit superior due to his younger age. Moving on to the Metahuman Tier, the characters in this tier have the power to destroy entire buildings. Some are even the size of buildings. Anthea isn't much of a combatant, but she can warp space around her and use this ability to hit 𝗧𝗵𝗲 with a building. 𝗬𝗫𝗄 can control the minds of others, but without the wizard staff, she doesn't have much combat feats. She clearly seemed weaker than the 𝗧𝗵𝗲 family. Batman in his armor and batsuit boasted superhuman strength and durability that allowed him to fight a weakened Superman. 𝗬𝗲𝗵𝗲 has powerful fire capabilities. Normally he might go in the tier below, but when he transformed he became strong enough to temporarily overpower Incubus. Incubus ended up outlasting and defeating him, so he goes a spot above. Incubus showed many destructive feats to prove he should be in this tier, and multiple Suicide Squad members working together were getting defeated by him. It took a fairly strong explosive to take him out. Cyclone is a genius and has the power to manipulate wind and is basically a tornado with a 167 IQ. The Nightcrawler was durable enough to take strikes from Steppenwolf and has powerful machine guns and missiles. Atom Smasher has the power to turn giant. He's likely too durable for the Nightcrawler to take out and showed superiority to Cyclone when he had to defend her. Enchantress was stated to be a metahuman more powerful than any encountered before by Amanda Waller during the events of the first Suicide Squad movie. Her illusions and teleportation abilities make her a dangerous adversary, allowing her to take on multiple Suicide Squad members at the same time. When given enough time, she can create a weapon that can threaten humanity itself. Starro is a giant space starfish that can smash through buildings, and it took the combined might of the new Suicide Squad to take it down. It can spew out mini starfish from its armpits and take over hosts and feed on their consciousness to grow even more powerful. Mera is a top tier Atlantean with the overpowered ability to control water. She used this power to rip the water and blood out of Steppenwolf, showing she can even damage characters above her weight class. Black Manta in his power suit was able to give Aquaman without a trident a run for his money, and even though Manta lost, Arthur passed out from the ordeal. Orm was the strongest Atlantean before Aquaman got Atlan's trident, as demonstrated when he defeated his older brother in 1v1 combat. Even with Atlan's trident, Aquaman wasn't sure he could defeat Orm underwater. Carapax in his upgraded OMAC suit became about equal to Blue Beetle and got the better of the hero at one point due to his combat experience and ruthlessness. Blue Beetle has the power to create just about any weapon you can think of, fly, and shoot energy blasts. When enraged, he defeated Carapax. Side note, the Scarab destroyed a planet it collided into, though I don't think Blue Beetle at this point scales to that. Ascending to the God tier, these characters are on the level of the old gods. Hawkman was able to hold his own against Black Adam and 𝗬𝗏, but was clearly inferior to both of them. Cheetah wished to be strong like Diana and showed she could keep up with the demigod, though Wonder Woman was weakened at the time. She then wished to be number 1, an apex predator like nothing there's ever been before, and evolved again. In this form she kept up with the full-powered Wonder Woman with Astria's armor and even ripped the armor apart. Due to this, I think she would rip through Hawkman's defense just the same. Cyborg has devastating attack power along with flight. He's a super hacker that could launch the world's entire nuclear arsenal if he wanted. Aquaman, after attaining Atlan's trident, defeated his brother. He later showed he was a level above his brother by holding his own against the powered-up Black Manta, who easily defeated Orm. Both Cyborg and Aquaman were strong enough to fight alongside Wonder Woman against Steppenwolf. Black Manta, being powered by the Black Trident, was stated multiple times to be stronger than before, and this was demonstrated when he easily defeated both Mera and Orm. Even Aquaman would have been finished by him had Mera not saved him. A Prime Kordax would likely be around here since he was empowering Manta, but he was killed the moment he got revived, so I left him off the list. Dr. Fate was stated to nearly have god-level powers and can see the future. Similarly to Hawkman, he gave both Black Adam and 𝗬𝗏 some trouble, but admitted he couldn't win. Hawkman was unable to break through the barrier Dr. Fate created, which Fate was able to maintain while fighting 𝗬𝗏, so Dr. Fate should be the stronger of the two. The 7 deadly sins could hold their own against 𝗧𝗵 and his god-powered family. Due to Dr. Fate only being stated to have nearly the power of a god, and the immortal nature of the 7 deadly sins, I put them above him. 𝗧𝗵's siblings seem to have the edge over the sins, resulting in their higher placement. Thaddeus Sivana was empowered by the 7 deadly sins and had powers comparable to 𝗧𝗵. He actually got the better of 𝗧𝗵, with 𝗧𝗵 having to bait envy out of him to win. Hespera demonstrated she was stronger than 𝗧𝗵's family when she consistently restrained multiple of them at once. She gave 𝗧𝗵 himself a beating, but 𝗧𝗵 came out on top at the end. It was later revealed it was her plan to let herself get captured, but in the finale 𝗧𝗵 was able to put up a fight against Layden, who one-shot her, so I think putting 𝗧𝗵 above her shouldn't be that controversial. Atlan was able to fight a young Darkseid alongside the old gods, and seemed comparable to them. After seeing Aquaman fight, Kordak said he was only half the man Atlan was. Artemis was an old god who could shoot arrows into a young Darkseid. Zeus was the king of the gods and pushed a young Darkseid back with his lightning. Ares killed all of the old gods but Zeus, who he seemed to have a stalemate with, but Ares survived while Zeus didn't, so I put Ares higher. Ares severely damaged a young Darkseid, forcing him to retreat. He later fought Wonder Woman and had the edge over her before her grief power-up. Both Zeus and Ares as the strongest of the gods should logically be stronger than Hespera. 𝗧𝗵 is the wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, the stamina of Atlas, the power of Zeus, and the courage of Achilles. This means 𝗧𝗵 should be superior to any of the gods. Initially he wasn't that strong due to his inexperience, but by the end of the second film I believe he likely surpassed them, being able to take on the mighty beast 𝗏𝗏𝗏. Flying up to the low Kryptonian tier, these characters are on the level of a Kryptonian. The Flash is one of the few characters even faster than a Kryptonian, being able to exceed the speed of light, and even go back in time. He doesn't have their raw power though and can't actually lethally damage one on his own, which is why he's at the bottom of the tier. Two of him however are able to combine their powers and kill the Kryptonian 𝗕𝗏𝗃. Another useful ability he has is being able to phase through objects. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is a powerful dragon that can paralyze all mortals with fear. He stabbed 𝗏𝗃 in the back and she believed 𝗏𝗏𝗏's powers were too great to destroy, putting him a tier above her. 𝗧𝗵 was only able to defeat 𝗏𝗏𝗏 by charging up energy in the wizard's staff to turn it into a bomb, and this explosion also took him out. 𝗕𝗏𝗃 is a behemoth of a Kryptonian that was able to contend with Superman himself. 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗃 also gave Superman difficulty and seemed more skilled and competent than her lumbering compatriot. Wonder Woman started off her movie incredibly powerful, but would have probably only been in the Metahuman tier. After Steve's death, she had a major power-up and went from getting her ass kicked by Ares to easily defeating him. Due to how one-sided the fight ended up becoming, I felt a tier difference between Diana and her uncle was warranted. Wonder Woman also demonstrated the speed and skill to keep up with the Kryptonian monster Doomsday. With her shield she could block his laser blasts and strikes, with her sword she could chop off his arm. This proves she can kill Kryptonians. And if she can fight back against Doomsday, I think she should be able to overcome lower-end Kryptonians. Black Adam is basically a more experienced and ruthless version of 𝗧𝗵, getting his powers from the same source. This is probably the strength 𝗧𝗵 will be when he reaches his prime. It was said no one on Earth could stop him, with Waller saying she could send someone not from the planet, aka Superman. This seems to imply that Black Adam should be above Wonder Woman as she's from Earth. 𝗬𝗏 was on par with Black Adam, but I put him above as he got the better of Black Adam when they were having a 1v1. Black Adam did end up ripping him in half, so I could see why some people would put Black Adam above him, but Black Adam only managed to do that because 𝗬𝗏 got distracted. Dark Flash ended up getting Kryptonian metal stuck in his body, which allowed him to kill Kryptonians on his own. Due to his greater speed, nobody in this tier would be able to stop him from slicing and dicing them. Rising in ranks to the Midcryptonian tier, these characters are above most Kryptonians. 𝗕𝗏𝗏 was able to get the better of Wonder Woman even when Aquaman and Cyborg were helping her, which comfortably puts him a tier above her. Wonder Woman stated she has never seen a being as strong as 𝗕𝗏𝗏, except for maybe Superman. This is weird as it would imply 𝗕𝗏𝗏 is stronger than Doomsday, however Doomsday was clearly stronger than Superman, who Wonder Woman said was maybe stronger than 𝗕𝗏𝗏, so this doesn't line up. A source does claim 𝗕𝗏𝗏 survived a battle with a different Doomsday, so this does point to 𝗕𝗏𝗏 being comparable, but it does not say 𝗕𝗏𝗏 won, just survived, which leads me to believe he wasn't stronger. 𝗬𝗧𝗃 aka Young Darkseid killed a Green Lantern and fought the old gods. In the theatrical release it was 𝗕𝗏𝗏 in these scenes, so 𝗕𝗏𝗏 and 𝗬𝗧𝗃 should be about the same strength. Zack Snyder actually stated in an interview 𝗬𝗧𝗃, 𝗕𝗏𝗏, Doomsday, and Superman were all comparable.
I got a question here about how strong 𝗬𝗧𝗃 is, Young Darkseid compared to, let's say, like Zod. But I think that, you know, young 𝗬𝗧𝗃 is super powerful compared to the rest of the, you know, the only thing that, you know, could really stand up against him is the old gods. And here you'll see him fighting with Zeus and Ares and the rest of the sort of the defenders of Earth as they are seen, and the old king of Atlantis. So that's him pounding the earth. This image, this next shot is Superman's, the death of Superman at the hands of that crazy monster that we let loose on the world. You know, Lex was crazy to let him loose, but Doomsday is, you know, just about as scary as a monster as we could come up with, other than the next one that we come up against, which 𝗬𝗧𝗃 and 𝗕𝗏𝗏 are pretty much comparable, I think, in some ways to those two. Although, you know, you could argue the sort of mythological strengths of both of them, and that some are more than others. But, you know, specifically for Superman, you know, this moment is really iconic to me, and you'll see how it influences the sort of what happens in this movie. But that's a little bit of a reveal.
So there you have it. From the creator himself, they should all be in the same tier. If you also noticed, he seemed to pretty strongly suggest 𝗬𝗧𝗃 and 𝗕𝗏𝗏 are stronger than Zod, though he didn't really outright say it. I think physically they very well may be, but the reason I put them at the bottom of the tier is due to their lack of flight, movement speed, and projectile weapons. The 𝗂𝗏𝗵 is a giant sea monster that makes Godzilla look like a regular-sized lizard. She could batter Aquaman around with a single tentacle easier than Steppenwolf could handle him while fighting all out. Though she may have more physical strength than the Kryptonians above, I think all of the adapted Kryptonians should be too fast for her. They could take their time to figure out a way to take her out, possibly going through a bodily orifice if they can't kill her from the outside. Superwoman was strong enough to contend with Zod and even got the better of him before he snuck her in their first fight. She loses this fight no matter how many times it's reversed, which is why I put her under Zod. But this was at least partly because it was fated for her to die to him in that timeline. I don't think it necessarily means she's much weaker. Zod was able to give Superman a run for his money and is worthy of the same tier as him. Like I mentioned earlier, Zack's statement seemed to imply Zod should be below 𝗬𝗧 and Steppenwolf. However, Zod was able to repeatedly react to the alternate Flash, who could already surpass the speed of light. This means his reaction speed should be comparable to Superman's when he fought the Justice League. Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Cyborg had no hope of keeping up with Superman, yet they kept up just fine against Steppenwolf. This pretty objectively demonstrates a massive speed gap between Zod and Steppenwolf, and feats trump an indirect statement from the director. Jor-El got the better of Zod, proving he's the better warrior. Technically, Zod became stronger after adapting to Earth, but if Jor-El adapted to Earth, he would just become stronger than Zod. Is the next character a bird or a plane? No, it's Superman! He proved his superiority over Zod when he snapped his neck. All the other Justice League members working together couldn't defeat him. Superman has super strength, and apparently even shifted a tectonic plate according to a newspaper. He might have even defeated Doomsday by sending him out into space had humans not intervened by nuking him, which Superman survived at point-blank range. Though Doomsday also survived, and survived it better, and to no surprise, he's next on the list. Doomsday was created using Zod's body and DNA as well as Lex Luthor's DNA to create an abomination that gets stronger every time you hit him. He can release powerful discharges of energy, and his heat vision can overpower Superman's. Even cutting him apart doesn't stop him, as he can regenerate his limbs. The monster used his regenerating severed limb to kill Superman, and only died himself due to a kryptonite spear. Due to Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman working together and still not being able to defeat him without one of them dying in a special weapon, a case could definitely be made for Doomsday going up a tier. However, Superman possibly being able to beat him by knocking him to space, and Zack Snyder's statements that say Doomsday, Superman, Steppenwolf, and 𝗬𝗧 are all comparable, I decided to leave him in this tier. The final tier is the High Kryptonian Tier. Superman, after reviving and supercharging himself with the sun's rays with his black suit, casually stomped Steppenwolf and completely no-sold his axe strike, showing these two have no business being in the same tier together. Superman in this fight also demonstrated Ice Breath, which he had not shown off previously. As far as I'm aware, there's no direct statements confirming Superman actually got stronger than he was before, but considering how Wonder Woman thought Superman was maybe only stronger than Steppenwolf before, but ended up stomping him, I think that is an indication of a power boost. Some people think Superman got stronger right after reviving based on how he statued Wonder Woman when he fought the Flash, but I disagree considering Zod kept up with the Flash in a similar way and he should be weaker than even pre-death Superman. Others point out how Wonder Woman seemingly had more trouble against the revived Superman than Doomsday, but Wonder Woman didn't want to hurt Clark, nor did she have a Superman helping her fight him. We also see Wonder Woman show she wasn't super far behind Superman in their headbutt clash in that fight. Despite getting barely any feats, I put Prime Darkseid at the top of the list. It seems pretty strongly implied in a vision that Darkseid was stronger than Superman, and that Superman ended up working for him in an alternate future. It's also pretty clear he should be a tier above Steppenwolf. Unfortunately, we will probably never get to see this Darkseid in action with the start of the new DC movie universe. Well, hopefully this new universe will make it to Darkseid before getting cancelled. If you want to see my tier list on the new DC movie universe, just subscribe to my channel and wait a few years. I promise I'll make a bunch of good tier lists in the meantime. Now excuse me while I go save more people in need of strength and power tier lists.